Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Glory Glory Man United podcast. I'm your host, as always, Kyle Quinn, and joining me today to discuss the sacking of Ruben Amorim is Brushy. How's it going, mate?
Yeah, not too bad, Carl. Not too bad. Not the way I thought the week was going to start.
No, I honestly didn't think this would happen so soon. It- But despite what the club are briefing, I don't think this was down to results. This was down to an argument over the tactics and the transfer strategy. Um,
Yep.
there's been thousands of articles now since it happened, from all the usual suspects: Jimmy Jackson, Samuel Luckhurst, Laurie Whitwell, Fabrizio Romano, and the club are saying that it was down to results, but I don't believe that. They've also been briefing that they weren't happy with Amorim's comments about Dorgu, and I agree with that. His comments about Chido Obi and Harry Amas, um, but it seems to be what happened over Christmas is the straw that broke the camel's back because he changed to a back four against Newcastle. United got the win. Then he changed back to back three against Wolves, and the Jason Wilcox had a meeting with him on the Friday, and the system was brought up, and Amorim apparently blew up in that meeting, and the decision was taken to sack him even before the Leeds game kicked off. And obviously, he did that extraordinary press conference after the Leeds game where he said, "I am the manager. I'm not the head coach of Manchester United." That's probably viewed as insubordination by the board, and we all expected him to be sacked the next morning. And of course, David Ornstein brought us the news at about 10:15 the next morning. So he's gone then, Brush. What's your thoughts?
To be honest, Carl, I thought that was the best press conference of his that I heard in a long time. It was the first time he was actually fired up. What upsets me is, like you mentioned, listen, the results have been terrible for a long, long time. And just on the merit of the results alone, it's understandable that he was going to lose his job. I think time and time again, we've come here and we've talked about it and said, listen, he's going to get himself sacked the way he's going on. He's got no one else to blame but himself due to his stubbornness and inability to adapt and change and whatnot. But ultimately, what saddens me is that it's none of that which has contributed to him getting sacked, really. The final straw was that press conference. The first time he's had the balls to call out the incompetence of those above him. And I think it's clear to see as well that, he was clearly told one thing and then that they haven't delivered on that. And he's very disgruntled and unhappy. Um, I think it was quite telling as well that the biggest smile I've seen on his face in the last 6 months was when that reporter said, "All right, good luck, Amorim, in your future endeavours," as he was walking away from Old Trafford.
Yeah, we've seen other managers been very upset about being sacked. He didn't seem upset at all.
He didn't seem upset at all. I
We've
mean, he's
seen it.
got a nice little severance package. It's almost as if a massive weight has been lifted off his shoulders, like he can breathe again. Because yeah, every time I saw him before, he just looked miserable. He didn't look happy in any of the press conferences. He just wasn't having a good time, was he? He wasn't having a good time. We weren't having a good time. Um, the last
Um,
time was it last week when we spoke, and we mentioned the thing about the wing backs, and you totally lost it. And you're like, oh, I'm done with wing backs. And I'll tell you what, I bet you didn't wish that you didn't think that you'd get your wish so soon. Um, it remains to be seen tonight. Obviously, when Fletch announces the team, if we do revert to a back four, or if we stick with wing backs for the time being, at least, because one of the fundamental flaws is now we don't have a left winger.
um, yeah, Fletch always plays a back four for the under 18s, so I expect to see that tonight, but we'll wait and see. But um, yeah, he was all smiles. We know the two Clark brothers, the photographers that work for the MEN. They've been photographing people even well going
Yeah,
back to David Beckham's days at Manchester United, so they're well known in Manchester. They're just their life is taking photographs of famous Man United players and stuff, and other celebrities, and they were taking pictures of Amorim on his wife out for a walk, out for a stroll, the afternoon of his sacking, and he had his sunglasses on and he was all smiles and stuff.
it's the
Um,
biggest smile I've seen on that man's face.
But
in the
if
last
I was
seven,
being
eight
if I
months.
was being sacked and I knew I was getting 10 million, I'd be smiling as well, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, what a severance package to have. But sheer incompetence, though, from the club from top to bottom. Just, pure lack of planning. And there was a lot of people that also warned us about this, wasn't there, Carl? Because I remember at the time Ineos were coming in, we took a look at Nice and what kind of things they were doing. And in a 6 year span, they've had 8 managers.
Yeah, it's crazy. Um, but it seems that like Semenyo could also have been a sticking point as well, because Ruben Amorim wanted to sign him. United had actually promised the player that they would change the system to accommodate him. And
Yeah.
since then, Simon Stone has said that Semenyo was going to play on the left wing and Kuna was going to be the number 9 because Shesko is still struggling
Mm-hmm.
at the moment. That didn't happen. He went to Manchester City, and I think Amorim thought that the money would then be used on a midfielder, and he was
Yep.
told that wasn't going to happen, and he was absolutely furious. So, and I also think this has come out in reports, and I'm not surprised to hear this, that he wanted to sell Kobe Manu, and the club weren't willing to sanction that, and that was
Mm-hmm.
also a bone of contention. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
happy that Kobe Manu has not been lost in all this,
Yeah.
because I didn't agree with the fact that Amorim didn't want to play him. And he was probably even more happier than Amorim about the news that Amorim was sacked. I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely.
I noticed that his sister posted up a picture of herself smiling as soon as it was announced.
Mm.
So less than subtle there. Um, yeah, I noticed that there was a lot of players, particularly the ones in the leadership group, were saying their goodbyes to Amorim and good luck in the future. But noticeable by his absence online was Kobe Manu, but that's not going to surprise anybody, is it?
Yeah, obviously not players on the fringes aren't going to get behind him. But I don't feel that he lost the dressing room or anything of that nature. So yeah, again, it's one of them contentious decisions, isn't it? I could have understood maybe if they saw out the season and then reassess the situation. But yeah, they obviously draw the lines here at any sort of insubordinance or questioning of authority. So it leads me to believe they want a yes man in charge, which is somewhat worrying.
Yeah, didn't Jason Wilcox also try to tell Ten Hag how to set up his team after the Crystal
Yeah,
Palace 4-0?
yeah.
So I'm not. I think that's what Amorim was getting at in his final press
Hmm.
conference, is that even though everybody was saying, and I was saying that, your
Yeah,
title is head coach, that's what you were brought in as. You can't
yeah.
turn around now and say you're the manager. But I think what he was trying to say, it might have been lost in translation. What he's
Mm.
trying to say is that I was told that I was being in complete control of team affairs.
Yeah, I think that's what I took away from it, Kyle. I think he was clearly told one thing, and that, once he arrived, he found out that that was not the case. Or perhaps he was told that, you would be made manager somewhere down the line, and that's not happened.
Yeah, I don't mind if Jason Wilcox and Christopher Vale are in charge of recruitment and Amorim
Yeah,
only gets like a say in that, and
yeah.
they make the decision as a team. But when it comes to his match day tactics, that purely has to be down to the manager, no one
Yeah,
else.
that's got to be on the manager. Absolutely. But again, this all goes back to the start because when you're doing your due diligence on a manager, and also first of all, before you even bring in a manager, you as a club need to have some ground rules and bullet points as to what you're trying to build. You need to have a philosophy. What is our philosophy? Historically, it's been playing attractive attacking football, possession based when possible. Using wide players. That's been the thing, and that's something that we've missed, and a lot of fans complain about. And if that's the case, then you need clear guidelines as to what it means to come to United and what style of football we're trying to establish. You can't go and get a manager who's told you what he's about and then be shocked that he doesn't play, with a flat back four or anything else. You know
Yeah, they knew that he was wedded to this formation. So
exactly.
did he think that halfway through his first full season that he was
Mm.
going to change?
Yeah,
That's
no,
what they
because
expected him
he's
to do.
been he's been very transparent since the beginning. So I can't fault him for that. There are things I can fault him on, obviously, like the inability to totally adapt, and the results have been diabolical. But I mean, he's stuck to his guns. So it's then on the board and the higher ups, isn't it, to then make a change.
Mhm.
Um, and we've put ourselves in a position now where you've followed this for 14 months, and now they've got a decision to make. Do you now get another manager in long term who tries to build on this, or do you go back to something a bit more
And,
familiar to the players
and
and us?
yes, yes, I'm going to go back to what it was like the other day. I do never want to see this wing
Want
back
to
system
see this
ever again.
again? I mean, yeah. Do you know what the thing is? We don't even have bloody wingbacks, which makes it
I
all
know.
the much more worse.
No, so it's weird that he felt that he wanted players in January. Um, if you want me to be flexible with my system, then you have to give me players. But you don't have the players to play your system at the moment.
Yeah,
Um,
that's the thing, isn't it? So do you adapt to pick up points, or do you stick
it,
to your
it, it,
guns and maybe assume or think that the board are going to help you out with
but
getting the pieces that fit
he-
your
his
particular puzzle?
his squad is still fitted to 4-3-3.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
his
Like I said, Carl, the only glaring issue I see is if we go to a more conventional 4-3-3 is we're lacking a left winger. Having got rid of Garnacho, obviously Rashi's away.
yeah,
It's very weak on that side.
yeah, it's going to have to be Kuna really for the time being.
Yeah, yeah. Unless you play him up top, and then when Ahmad comes back, maybe there's a position for him. Or well, now that he's gone, Bruno. Oh, we can move Bruno back where he belongs.
Yeah, and bring Menu into the midfield.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So surely now Bruno has the freedom to go. Especially. I mean, I'm sure we'll get to who the impending arrival is, and we'll have to analyze that as well. But yeah, no. Surely now the smart thing would be for Bruno to take up more familiar role in the 10, in one of the 10.
absolutely. Um, yeah, I feel as if the squad was suited to a flat back four anyway, and
Yep.
three in midfield. I mean, I think what happened was, in the end, was that he went to a back four against Newcastle. United won the
Mm,
game, and
mm,
then when he changed to a back three against Wolves, and United were dire in that game, I think that's where
yep.
Wilcox came in, had a meeting
Yeah.
with him, and said, "Look, you changed it back four. We won the
Mm,
game against the top side.
mm,
You you then changed it back three against Wolves, who were dire and drew with a team who only had 2 points previous to that match.
yep.
Can you not go back to playing a back four again?" And then out of stubbornness, he went and played the back three against Leeds again. And for example, we had 9 defenders in that match and 2 attackers.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
absolutely ridiculous. I think he totally got it wrong on the day. Why you would go like for like with the bottom team in the league, I don't know. But at the same time, I do understand that there can't be a power struggle. You can't have somebody just coming into your dressing room and telling you how you need to play and tactically change things up. Um, we've seen it with Maresca at Chelsea. He was told he had to rotate the squad in order to maintain value, and look how that ended.
yeah. Um, as soon as the director of football is telling the head coach
Hmm.
how to set up his team on match day, the head coach is finished. Mm.
Yeah, yeah, that's a concern. That
Uh, so I'm not altogether happy with all this interference. This happened under Ten Hag as well, and
yeah,
probably going to happen under the new manager. But I tell you what, Jason Wilcox is suddenly feeling the heat. All of a sudden, the media turn their attention to
as he
him.
should. Him and Barada, there needs to be a spotlight on them.
Yeah, all of a sudden he's been scrutinised. There's
Yep,
article after article on what his job is and
yep,
what he's been
yep.
doing. And I tell you one thing I didn't like from Jason Wilcox is
Mm,
that
mm,
when we won those 3 games in a row, he was talking to any media, any journalist who wanted to
mhm,
do an interview with him, and then all of a
mhm.
sudden he went missing again.
Yeah, it's nonsense,
So
isn't it?
I'm not.
And then obviously when things like this happen as well, Carl, they're gonna rehash the past as well. We're gonna have to look at the Ashworth situation all over again. You know?
And do you know what? I'm glad you mentioned that because it's been well documented that Dan Ashworth was not keen on bringing in Ruben Amorim and
No,
didn't
he
think that
wasn't.
he was
It
suited
was
to the Premier
Barada
League.
that, yeah, Barada sort of overstepped him, didn't he? And went to sort out the Amorim stuff.
Yeah, and then Dan Ashworth lost his job, but he'd be feeling
Yeah,
vindicated right now.
yeah, yeah. Again,
But
it's just utter farce, isn't
and
it? Like we chased him out
yeah,
for 6 months, fired him after
yeah,
5.
and this is and, and what's really important about that is that
Yeah.
Omar Barada had never been a CEO before. Jason Wilcox
Mhm.
had never been a director of
Mhm.
football before he was at
Yeah,
Tottenham
yeah,
for a
yeah,
good
yeah. They've
spell.
come from successful clubs where they've done successful things,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
they're assuming new roles here.
But
It's not
Dan
those roles that
Ashworth,
they did at their previous club that they're doing.
Dan Ashworth was the only one who had done his role at a previous club, and they got
Yep,
rid of him.
yep. After chasing him and paying compensation. So for all the money that they've tried to cut with the cost cutting and saving and stuff, if you look at how much we've lost over their incompetence, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, they give Ten Hag a new contract,
Yep.
back him with signing these players that he wanted
Hmm.
and some that he didn't want as well, of course.
Yep.
And then in October they get rid of him. They had to sack
Yep.
him and all his coaches, which was a lot more expensive given the new contract.
Hmm.
Then they had to pay compensation to Sporting to get Amorim. Now after
Yep.
14 months, they've sacked him and then had to pay him and all his coaches off. Look,
Compensation, yeah. And every summer that these new managers are here, you're spending money under them as well. So none of it makes sense, really, does it?
is there anything Ineos have got right so far?
Not particularly. Their stadium plans are in tatters as well, so we can
Oh,
forget about that. And I've not heard anything about renovating Old Trafford either. So
and you see when you just keep refusing to back managers in January,
Mhm.
the club isn't going to go anywhere.
No, it
Um,
isn't.
and if the club are so highly leveraged that they can't afford to back managers in
Yeah,
January, then just be
yeah,
honest about it.
yeah.
Uh,
Well, the thing is, the fact that the money for Semenyo is there, they have a certain line of credit. So I think for the right player, they're willing to fork out, but they're not willing to just back the manager on anybody. So make of that what you will. I think it's a bit silly,
While
and it's so important. Sorry, God.
their briefing is that they won't sign a midfield target in
Yeah.
January unless it's a long-term target.
Again, that's stupid. A lot can happen from now to the end of the season. Could be the difference between us making a Champions League spot and not. At any and every given opportunity, we should be looking to improve. So if that means getting a loan signing in, doing some sort of little wheeling and dealing here and there, you have to do it. Yeah, we mentioned the last time we spoke about Marcel Sabitzer coming in for that January period, and he made a
Mhm.
difference. So there's deals to be done in January. Like obviously you're not going to get your long term
Yeah.
target, but if you can go and get a Conor Gallagher or someone for a little while,
Mhm.
you go and do it. You do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I can
ridiculous.
see that happening at the end of the window because
Yeah.
at the moment Atletico want a straight sell,
Mm,
whereas United only want to loan them. But
yeah.
then if Atletico don't manage to get him out the door by the
Hmm.
31st of January, they might be willing to loan him. So I think
Yeah.
that's one to watch.
Yeah, because that's the thing, isn't it? On deadline day, you don't want a player that's not part of your plans on the fringes, just sat there doing nothing, and taking up wages. Because if they're not getting game time as well, obviously their value is just going to depreciate. So it makes sense to, you know, send them out on loan.
And so I get to some comments here. One from Zungu says people forget Bruno Casemiro and Kobe for 18 months was called a donut midfield, and we can see it. And we conceded 20 shots with that midfield under Ten Hag. People just think it's going to be different. Yeah, it's certainly not a perfect midfield by any means, especially with an aging Casemiro.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely not.
but and then Harry here says player power has won again. They brought him in to change the culture and didn't fully back him. A lot of losses were Onana mistakes, and we had
Mm.
Bayern and goal for the first few games of this season. I think it's actually the first time that a manager had not lost the dressing room, and you only have
Hmm.
to look at the posts on Instagram
Yeah,
after he um yeah, and even in the briefings coming out now, is that the players were actually really disappointed that he was sacked,
hmm,
and that has never been the case before. As far as I mean, maybe a little bit with Solskjaer because they liked his personality, but when you go back to Ten Hag being sacked and Mourinho being sacked and Van Gaal, nobody in the dressing room, not many, were shedding tears over it. So,
yeah.
um, apparently the players at the moment are a little bit shocked and disappointed. Um, Yeah, so I don't think he had lost the dressing room at all, but I do think that maybe the players um, didn't have full faith that this system was getting the best out of them. But they didn't seem to have a personal problem with the manager,
Yeah.
judging by what we're reading and seeing at the moment. Mm. But yeah, I think that he, in my opinion, he should have gone after the Europa League final
Hmm.
because his inability to affect the game from the bench was there for all to see, and it was such an important game for United, not just in terms of winning the trophy, but
Yeah.
financially as well. And he messed it up that night. Uh, if not, he should have gone after Grimsby because that was utter humiliation. Uh, and we've seen that is a lack his lack of ability to affect games from the bench has been a theme of this season as well. So there's multiple times where he could have been fired and wasn't, to do with what's happened on the field, and it seems to be something that's happened off the field that's got him fired, which is
Hmm.
I'm not really happy about that because, as I say, he seems a bit as if he can have bad results, he can have bad performances. He can criticize the academy, he can criticize Kobe Manu, he can say that you can feel the stadium getting anxious every time Dorgu picks up the ball. He can say what he likes on these matters, it seems, but as soon as you criticize the board, you're out.
Yeah, as
Um,
soon as you question anything that comes from above, that's it. That's where they draw the line. So that's the message that this sends out, which is that's where I have concerns. Because so now you're telling me that you just want a yes man that's gonna, bow down and follow your orders.
mm, yeah, and to be fair, we were warned by niche fans
Hmm.
and other people who had followed Ineos's sporting projects, and
Yeah.
none of them have gone very well, to be honest.
No, in any sport, from sailing to cycling, it's all just flopped. But yeah, with the niece thing, like I was trying to keep an open mind because I thought, you know what, United and Nice are two totally different clubs on totally different ends of the spectrum. And even like when we look at other successful teams who have got sort of, sister clubs, like be it Chelsea and Strasbourg or Man City and Girona, who are struggling really badly, by the way. Like, you can't always compare those clubs and go, oh, they have the same goals and ambitions for all of them. So a part of me did think maybe they won't approach it the same way as they approach Nice, but judging by what we've seen so far, it's exactly the same, isn't it? It's the same level of incompetence.
Yeah, not just the incompetence when it comes to sporting matters,
Yeah,
but the making a third of the United staff redundant and then hiking the ticket prices.
and
There's not.
all of that is made redundant by all these stupid sackings and signings.
Yeah, see the amount of money they've wasted on sacking Ten Hag and
On
Amorim.
compensation. And this is the thing, it's not just the manager because it's the whole backroom staff as well that they brought in that needs
Yeah,
replacing. So,
and yeah,
it all accumulates. There's so much
yeah,
money being wasted.
yeah. The sackings of Ashworth, Ten Hag, and
Yeah.
Amorim, and all the coaches,
But it's
that
the
could have.
staff that are earning
That,
minimum wage and that who are, putting in
yeah,
graft that you're sacking.
but all the money wasted in those sackings, that could have been a new player.
Oh, absolutely. And also all those staff that you sacked as well. Like, you could have paid for all of them for many, many years
I know, and
and still had a fat chunk left over.
yeah, and they briefed about this. Was it? I can't remember. It was some stupid role. Some guy was being paid a
Mm.
quarter of a million a year. I can't remember what the role was again. It wasn't a translator or
Oh, it was
something.
stupid, wasn't it? It was a
Yeah,
body language coach or something. Do you remember? It was
body language
yeah,
expert or something, was it?
yeah, body language yeah,
Uh,
something along those
but
lines. Reading body language. It was just stupid.
yeah, but that was obviously an Ineos briefing to make it
Yeah.
sound like the redundancies were
Hmm.
worthwhile. And
Yeah,
but I would say the majority of the staff who were let go were people that had been
majority
there for
was
30
just
years.
normal day to day,
Yeah,
yeah, day to day staff who were just doing a stellar job and not earning that much as well in comparison. Um, so yeah,
yeah.
it's madness, really.
And they even got rid of the free lunches for
Yeah, yeah.
Man United employees. And then Radcliffe said, "Well, I've never had a free lunch in my career."
Hmm. Hmm.
Um,
I mean, this is also the man that said, Amram should be given at least 3 years. And look where we are now.
Yes, that's another important point. That was only that was only in October that he said that.
Yeah.
So so it was the first interview in the Times' business
Mm,
podcast, and he was the first guest, and he said that
yeah,
we're we're not going to react to some journalist going off on one.
yeah.
Um, Amorim is a long-term project. We're going to give
Mm,
him 3 years to implement his project,
yeah,
and 3 months later he's gone.
yeah. Both I think both the October and November managers of the month have lost their jobs in January.
That's right. So
Ha, yeah.
everyone who gets the December manager of the month is going to be nervous about losing their job.
So it just goes to show how
Um,
ridiculous this league is, isn't it? And, what a sport to be involved in.
um, so Darren Fletcher is going to be the caretaker manager, at least for the time being, and he's going to take charge of the Burnley game this evening. And we're hoping to see a return to a back four. He done the press conference last night. He looked like a guy who was very new to doing those press conferences. He
Ah,
didn't. He was very.
I tell you what, Carl.
He,
Like, is this guy just always in the room whenever anything goes Pete Tong at Old Trafford? Like, whatever situation, there's always a role for Fletch.
yeah,
You
and now
know, he's gonna he's done every job, hasn't he? Like, it's madness. He might be the long
yeah, he
term
has.
successor to Kathy as well at this stage.
Mm. Yeah, but apparently he's a very intelligent guy and not afraid to speak his mind. And
Oh yeah, I don't
Alex
doubt it.
Ferguson
Like,
thinks he
yeah,
and Alex Ferguson thinks he has a future in coaching.
yeah.
So
It's a different kettle of fish, though, isn't it? From under 18 to the main. There's been one or two clips going viral of him giving interviews, talking about the United DNA and all of that stuff. And it all sounds great on paper. Will it correlate to the first team? I don't know. I don't know.
well, all I'm hoping for really is a new manager bounce. Um,
Yes, yes. And in
so
terms of that,
Johnny Evans is going to be his assistant tonight.
yep, yep. And also, a very familiar face is waiting in the wings. It looks like,
We'll get to that in a wee second.
yeah.
Um, so the under 21s coach is going to be another assistant tonight, and his assistant's going to be involved too. So that's going to Alan
Hmm.
Wright, I think, might be the under 21s coach, something like
Hmm.
that. So Fletcher Evans, and then the two coaches from the under 21s are going to be taking charge tonight, and potentially against Brighton as well in the FA Cup third round game.
Yeah.
Um, but Kobe apparently joined training again on the day of Amorim's sacking. Bruno is in contention, and Mount is in contention tonight to get some minutes, but they're not
Hmm.
expected to start, as that's what Fletcher said. Um, so Manu was actually genuinely injured, and I believe that because if
Yep.
he wasn't, his brother would have told us on Instagram, that he
Yeah, and
wasn't injured.
also like you have to declare these things with the Premier League. Like you can't put out false information.
Yeah,
You have to put out who is and isn't injured, especially with like things like betting and stuff going on. You know, you can't manipulate that. So yeah,
no.
transparency is a thing. So I know
And
there's conspiracy theories going around, but I don't really pay that no mind, to be honest.
and speaking of betting, United to win by 2 goals tonight, 2 goals or more, was
Mm,
originally 2-1. Because so many people have been placing bets on it, it's down to 15-8. And so a lot of gamblers have seen that United are going to get a new manager bounce tonight. So let's get on them to win by 2 goals or more. Uh,
hmm.
have to admit I've been thinking about it myself, but then looking at the injury list, I'm not too sure. And I
Yeah,
was I was actually scrolling down all Burnley's previous results at home against the top teams, and there there not been any drubbings really.
no,
It's all be
but
like by one or
steady.
two
Yeah,
goals.
yeah, but they've lost three out of their last five, and the two they didn't lose were draws. So you know we're playing a team that's in terrible form. They've conceded 39 goals and only scored 20. So
Yeah,
by all means, we should be beating.
yeah. I fancy United to win the game, but I don't think it'll
Yeah,
be an absolute hammering,
yeah, yeah.
especially with the injuries that we have.
Hmm.
And that Bruno and Mount are not going to start the game if Fletcher's telling the truth on that one. And they're only going to come off the bench. So that's going to be more or less the same starting 11 against Leeds because there's not really much to choose from. I imagine that
Yeah.
Xerxes will come in from the start rather than Lenny Yoro.
Yes.
That was the only sub that Amorim made. An instant impact from Xerxes, by the way, against
Instant
Leeds.
impact by
Yeah.
Xerxes. Yeah, he was. Yeah, it was a drab game overall, wasn't it for us? But yeah, instant impact by Xerxes. Yeah, proved
And
his usefulness.
really good performance by Kuna. I felt obviously he scored a good goal when he was played in by
He could
Xerxes.
have had a couple more, and he should have
Yeah,
had a couple more.
the one spectacular goal was ruled out for offside,
Yeah, yeah. So unfortunate that what a finish that was.
and and Chesko had to bury that chance from 6 yards
Yeah,
out.
absolutely. No excuses. Sheshko needs to hit the target there.
And oh, that man is in desperate need of a goal. But
He is.
if we're if we're playing with a more attacking lineup, he might get more
Mhm.
service. And as
Yeah, absolutely. If you play to his strengths and play around him, I do think he'll be all right. And the other thing as well, at the start of the season, he was used sparingly, come on for like little substitute appearances. But
the
then when
injury,
the press write about it, they just put it down as the number of appearances to goals. There's no context as to how many minutes he actually played or how he was used. So,
of
that's all
course not.
kind of added to it.
Yeah. So we've heard that Ruud van Nistelrooy has been in contention, Michael Carrick, Fletcher himself,
Mhm.
and of course Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Um, he made it known pretty early that he was interested in working as interim manager,
Mhm.
even for free. He doesn't care,
Yep.
what United are
Yep.
willing to pay him. And United have held talks with them, and they're going to have
Mhm.
he's living in Cheshire at the moment, so they're going to have a
Mhm.
face-to-face talks, and they are advancing. Um, doesn't surprise me. I knew that Solskjaer would be willing to come back in and be the interim
Yeah.
manager. Uh, but on, on some of the journalists are reporting that he's already said that I can get the best out of Mambumo, Ahmad, Bruno, Sheshko, and Kuna as an attacking
Mm.
five. Give me the job, and I'll get them all firing.
Mm.
And that's really enticing. And he is someone that even at United in his first spell, and even at Besiktas, he's someone that can have an instant impact. He can bring a
Yeah.
positive energy back to a club, and he can get the attacking players playing, even if it's only for a short time before it starts to unravel.
Mhm.
But him as a short-term manager, I think he's probably one of the best options. I
I'll
think
tell you what, some
he'll
of the
have an
best football played was when he was interim because he
oh
played
yeah,
with a sense of fearlessness when he was interim. I think he overthought it when he got the permanent job. So
yeah,
if he could do something like that again, I'm not opposed to it. It's not the worst idea. Um, the one apprehension I have is in terms of these lots' lack of planning. Um, like you should really be sitting down and looking at all of the options of who's free and
mm,
out there and who could do a job. Um,
yeah. But on that, uh,
mhm.
I think it's sensible to appoint a competent interim manager right now, and
Yeah,
then wait to the summer before making a
wait till
permanent.
the summer. Yeah,
Because
definitely.
in the summer there's going to be much more managers
Oh,
available.
absolutely, yes. The only thing I think this time we can't get bamboozled if you do bring in an interim, no matter how well they do, make sure they stay an interim and they just see out that period and it's done.
Yeah, because we know when Susser came
Yep.
in 2018, he won 14 of his first 19 matches. Now,
Hmm.
we have 18 league matches left. If he wins 14 or 18 league matches, are they going to give him the job? They can't do that.
Yeah, so yeah, you can't do that. You can't do that. And the thing is, like, if he does what he does the first time round, yeah, of course, it's going to give the players belief because they're just going to go out there and be given a certain amount of freedom for them to, express themselves.
And
And that will initially bring with it goals before you start to get found out. And that's where it starts to go left.
yeah, because as you've seen with at the end of Solskjaer's time in charge, that he found it hard to strike a balance between United scoring goals and keeping goals out at the other end. When he took the handbrake
Yep.
off, and United started to get hammered in big games against
Yeah.
like Liverpool
Hmm.
and City and even Watford. Um, so
Hmm.
he wasn't able to find the right balance between attack and defense.
No.
But
And
I
that's
think when
somewhat of a
if he comes in
concern
short
because
term,
Yeah, that's somewhat of a concern, Carl, because I
We've
mean
had that problem
we've
already. We've had that
we've
problem
yeah
already. Yeah.
we've suffered with that this season. We've scored 34, but we've conceded 30. No other team in the top 10 has conceded as many goals as we have.
Yeah, and no more game epitomizes that more than Bournemouth.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, um, yeah, I had to mention this that Ruben Amorim's 38 38.71% win rate is the worst of any permanent United manager
Hmm.
in the Premier League era.
Yeah.
I think
Uh,
I remember seeing the stats going back to, know, yeah, all Premier League my managers. Yeah,
mhm.
he's right at the bottom. Obviously, Fergie
Right at
is
the
top.
bottom. Yeah. And
Fergie is
even at
way
that,
way
I
out
think
front.
that's overall as well, isn't it, Carl? I think just Premier League is even lower. I think it's something like
Yeah,
31.9.
yeah, yeah. 31.9 Premier League.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, or at least that's the way it was like a number of
Yeah.
weeks ago. I'm not sure about now, but I remember I
Hmm.
seen that stat in the middle of the season a couple of months ago that Fergie was like 65% win
Yeah.
rate, Mourinho 53, Ten Hag 51.8, Solskjaer 51.4, Van Gaal 51.3, David Moyes 50%, and Ruben Amorim 31.9, and that is the Premier League win rate. Whereas
Yeah.
overall it's 38%. Probably the Europa League has really helped them
Hmm.
push that up a bit. But yeah, the Premier League 31.9%. That is absolutely appalling.
Yeah.
But I did remember seeing a stat though, even going back to the Second World War, he had the worst win rate as a United manager as well. I
Hmm.
believe.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Listen, I saw people
but
on that list like Franco Farrell and Dave Sexton who
yeah,
had better records than him. Wolf
yeah,
McGuinness.
and they weren't successful United
And they
coaches.
weren't successful. No, no.
Uh, Yeah, but you know what Sky Sports are like? They pretend as if football was only invented in 1992. So
Well,
when you're
yeah,
relying
yeah.
on them
Premier
for
League
stats,
onwards, isn't it? Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It's one of those.
Um. So Sammy Luckhurst reported that Amorim was incensed by Jason Wilcox's criticism in the infamous Friday meeting. Wilcox questioned his tactics and suggested Amorim didn't have the same pedigree as other specific coaches. So
Mm,
that might have been. Do you remember after Leeds, he started saying, "I'm not Mourinho. I'm not
yeah,
Tuchel. I'm
yeah,
not Jurgen Klopp or that might be why he was saying that because
yeah,
Wilcox was telling him that you don't have the pedigree of these coaches.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, again, sheer incompetence, isn't it? So, did you think he was going to have the pedigree when you go and get an up and coming coach who's 38, 39? You know, it's ridiculous, isn't it? If that's what you wanted, then that's what you should have identified. It's not like those guys weren't available or out there. There are qualified, experienced managers if you wanted to take that route.
Yeah, I always thought that a very young manager who'd never managed outside of Portugal coming in to take
Mm.
on this shit show of a club was always going to be a big ask, and so it's
Yeah, but
proved.
then
Uh,
we thought it was also going to be a long-term project, didn't we? So was willing to give it time. Um, but yeah, everything about it was just wrong, wasn't it? Um, yeah. For me, the real concern was probably in the summer. When I saw the summer transfer window, I just didn't see how he could work with that.
yeah, it didn't feel as if they were signing players for his system.
No, and that's always a little bit of a concern. I mean, I understand it in terms of it gives you flexibility if you want to get rid of the manager, but then you need continuity in what you're building. So yeah, so that's why I think it'll be really interesting to see where we go from here long term because yeah, the next permanent appointment will let us know if they're just going to sack off the last 14 months and revert back to what we know, or if they want to continue with this and people like Glasner are in the frame.
No, whilst I like Glasner as a manager, I just don't think that he suited
Yeah,
the Manchester United if
yeah.
he's going to play that system.
Also, it depends, I think, on their budget and stuff as well, Carl. Having seen them waste as much money as they did, I wouldn't be surprised if they go for a cheapy option. They'll probably be looking at the likes of a Glasner or Iraola with the fact that you can get them for free in the summer because their contracts are up.
Um, Yeah, that's true. But I just don't think I want to see another manager who's going to play a back three. I just don't want to see that
Yeah,
anymore.
yeah,
Um,
that's yeah,
um, but there are going to be potentially big name managers available in the summer.
yes,
Of course, Thomas Tuchel, he's not signed a new contract with England yet.
yep,
Nagelsmann could be available after the World Cup,
yep,
and probably the most exciting one of all,
hmm
will not extend his contract with PSG. Um,
yes. Very, very intriguing. But that's a man where if you get him in, you need to just listen to him. Whatever he wants, you give him.
yeah, well, Jason Wilcox can't turn around to him,
And Jason
and
Wilcox can't say anything to that man. That's a man who's done two trebles in a decade. What can he say to him?
yeah, there's absolutely no way that Wilcox could turn around and say, "What's your pedigree?" Well,
Exactly. But
I've
then
won it.
that's the thing. See, if we're ambitious, that's the kind of person we should be aiming for. But then if you're aiming for that, then you need to be also have the tools ready to give him. You can't just bring somebody like that in and then
He's going to demand it anyway. He's going
yeah,
to
yeah.
demand it.
He's not going to come otherwise. So it's one of those.
He's going to identify where the weaknesses are in the
And
squad
he
that
and
he's
he's
going.
done it all, Carl. He's done it. Listen, in the last decade, he's won 2015 and 2025. He's won two trebles with two great teams. He's worked with all the big egos. He knows how to manage those. He did that exact. He did it the other way around as well at PSG. So he's well versed in all of it. He dismantled the
Um,
egos when he went to PSG. Got it more football based. Got players
yeah,
in certain profiles, and yeah. For me, that
um,
would be the dream candidate.
yeah. I think we have to absolutely go all out to get him,
Yeah,
and having Solskjaer as an interim manager gives us time to pursue these managers
yeah,
for the
yeah,
summer.
yeah. It's not the worst thing in the world. Ollie coming in, obviously he knows the club inside out and whatnot. The fact that he's willing to help out and stuff as well says a lot. Um,
But yeah, to,
this season, though, I will say what's slightly different to last is last season. I know a lot of us reluctantly were willing to sack off the season in the league, but you could somewhat do that because all our eggs were in that Europa League basket. We don't have that this season. So there is no writing off this season. So whoever comes in, we must demand, European qualification and to
yeah,
finish as high as possible in the league.
yeah, and ideally we want that Champions League money.
Oh,
We
absolutely, yeah.
want it,
It's imperative.
and it's there for us.
For a club of our size, yeah, it's absolutely there for the taking. Like I told you in the summer, right? Because I thought this going into this season, realistically, my prediction was seventh to ninth. But the way the season has unfolded, it's actually a travesty. We're not second or third in the league right now. The opportunity's been there.
Yeah, if we just look at
Um,
all the points that were dropped at home in the last few weeks,
yeah, yeah, just and also like the way it's all fallen as well. It really was to our advantage. There was times where
and
we could have, we had
yeah,
all the other results in mind. We knew what happened
yeah, yeah.
here, there, and everywhere, and we just had to get over the line, and we didn't.
And Amorim, this is the reason why he should have been sacked. In his last
Mhm.
11 games, he won three.
Yeah, yeah,
That should have been reason enough to get rid of him, but it
yeah,
wasn't, of course, the reason. No matter what they say, it was to do with the fallout with Jason Wilcox.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, Luis Enrique is like the would be my top candidate,
Absolutely,
and should
mine
be the
too.
boards
That
as
would
well. They
that,
should be going
that
all out to get that guy. Um,
they should be going all out because yeah, if he fancies excuse me, if he fancies a new challenge, and obviously there's been speculation as well about Pep stepping down. So you got to be attuned to these things. There could be a shift in the power structure in the Premier League with these sort of changes happening. So we have
well,
to be there at the forefront.
I'd like to think that he won't take the City job if it comes available to him, because that's not even a challenge. You have the most money to spend in
Oh
world
no, I
football.
didn't mean it like that. I just meant it in terms of there being an opportunity for us to seize on Pep potentially departing. Weirdly, I've heard Enzo Maresca's been linked with Man City if Pep decides to step down.
Yeah, well, he's been Pep's assistant, hasn't he, in the
Yeah,
past?
yeah, him and Arteta are both students of his.
So you can see that happening.
Hmm hmm
and I'm quite happy with that because he's quite a volatile individual. So I'm quite
Yeah,
happy for him to go and cause chaos at City.
yeah, yeah,
Because
defo.
I do think there's going to be a come down from Pep's departure. They're going to
Yeah,
suffer when that
absolutely.
happens.
Because yeah, there's definitely gonna. Well, you'd like to think so. I was hoping for the same at Liverpool, but then we saw what Slot did last year.
Yeah, but they could sack Slot in the summer.
They absolutely could.
We need to
Yeah.
go in and we need to get this done as quickly as
Oh,
possible. With
absolutely. That would be the ideal appointment. I don't know the exact reason why he's not signed an extension at PSG. If he fancies a new challenge or whatever, we got to make sure
well,
we're there.
and I have to say, as soon as they won the Champions League, I saw this coming
Yep.
because once you've won the treble, the Champions League
Yep.
with PSG, where else can you
Yep.
go?
Yeah, well,
What else
yeah.
can you do
That's
after that?
that's it. Yeah. And when you look at the
Uh, uh,
managers around, there's not too many with his level of experience. I would have loved Ancelotti, but obviously age makes it impossible. It's not a viable
yeah.
thing.
Well, once he
But
started
Luis
going down the
Enrique is
route,
in that mold.
yeah. Once Ancelotti started going down the
Yeah.
route of managing a national team, then
Hmm.
he's semi-retired. Then isn't he?
Yeah, and he's getting on as well in age as well, in it. So with Luis Enrique, he's of a similar mold to Ancelotti in that I think he's willing to travel around. I think Ancelotti's got the record. He's won the league title in all five major leagues in Europe, which is astounding.
Yeah, and multiple Champions Leagues. Um,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The record
so
holder for Champions League. So yeah, incredible stuff.
so Enrique would be number one, Tuchel number two, I think, and then maybe Nagelsmann is number three. That would
Nagelsmann
be
should be there. Yeah.
yeah. But I want to see either Tuchel or Nagelsmann win the World Cup because then they'll become even more enticing as
Oh
United
yeah,
managers.
absolutely. Yeah. And that's a battle of styles there as well. So it'll be very interesting that. Whereas Tuchel's very pragmatic. And again, Nagelsmann, it wasn't really for footballing reasons that he lost his job at Bayern, and they even tried to get him back, but he turned it down. So, and he's very young, he is. So, that's an exciting one.
Yeah, he took a national team job very early in his career, like
Yeah.
yeah,
In an ideal world, Card would go and do the business and get Luis Enrique, and Nagelsmann
yeah,
will be the one that succeeds him many years down the line.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Enrique would be so exciting, but they have to back him properly,
Oh
otherwise
yeah,
he's
absolutely. That's the key. That's the key in all of this. Like, if you could get him, that would be a statement. But it means nothing if you don't back him properly.
and Mickey was joking in the comments there, saying that we should get Wilfred Nancy to the end of the season. The
He's. I think Martin O'Neill's back there, isn't he? Uh, on Monday when the news broke, and you told me we were joking in the chat. Um, that we should. Well, I was joking that yeah, we should go for Martin O'Neill
well,
before Celtic
yeah.
hire him back.
If if you think United have been chaotic this season or in the
Yeah,
last couple of days, Celtic have now had the same interim manager twice in one season.
yeah, madness. But he's a very experienced coach. Him. Yeah, I used to
And
like him back in the day.
during his interim period there,
Yeah.
before Wilfred Nancy came in, he won 7 out of 8 matches,
Yeah, and funny enough,
including that,
sorry, go on.
including an away win against Feyenoord in Rotterdam,
Hmm.
which
Hmm.
is no mean feat for Celtic.
Yeah. Funny enough, when Fergie was first rumored to retire around 2002, Martin O'Neill was one of the people that was on the shortlist.
Yeah, he's been largely successful anywhere he's went really.
Yeah.
Even at Aston Villa, he was
Yeah, even at Aston
right
Villa,
up
he
there.
did pretty well. He did pretty well.
Um, yeah, who would have thought that just 72 hours ago, Martin O'Neill would again be the interim manager of Celtic, and
Hmm.
Solskjaer would again be the interim manager of Manchester United. Who would have thought that?
Yeah, you couldn't write this stuff, could you?
Although that's not confirmed yet with Solskjaer, but it seems like we're going in that
It
direction.
looks like that's where we're headed. So yeah, the skeptical side of me thinks, like the club really need to look at themselves, and you should assess all possible candidates. Like I know in the past, Chelsea back when they were better under Roman Abramovich, when Marino was the one running the show, when they needed interims, they got people, with the pedigree of like a Gus Hiddink or a Rafa Benitez to come in and do an interim job. Um, you
But
know.
But yeah, because I've heard one or two journalists in the last day or so saying,
Yeah.
do United just go looking down the list of the 06, 07 squad when they're looking at interim managers?
Yeah, yeah. It just seems like, do we just look at who we know? Like what? And also, when a manager just makes himself available, like, all right, so was he
You
on your
know?
shortlist before? Because I would prefer it if he was on the shortlist before, opposed to him making himself available and you just going, oh look, oh he's
Yeah.
said he's free.
Yeah, but I suppose they weren't, this time last week, they weren't really thinking about interim managers. So,
Well, yeah, but this is also just, again, sheer incompetence, isn't it? Should you be making those kind of decisions on a whim? Like, even if you were unhappy, do you, was this the best time? I think the timing of it's terrible.
yeah, because no matter what they say,
Yeah,
with all the briefings, we know what the real reason was. It wasn't to do with
yeah,
results.
yeah,
If it was to
yeah.
do if it was to do with results, they would have sacked him ages ago.
Oh,
For fuck's
absolutely.
sake.
And that's what sucks because we've suffered through a lot, and then only for this to happen. So and then we've got the Afcon boys coming back in a couple of weeks as well. So they're coming back
But
into chaos.
yeah, tell you what, and Ahmad scored 3 goals already at AFCON,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
Amorim was playing him as a wing back. Thankfully, we'll never see
yeah,
that again.
yeah, 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 yeah,
But do you know what's that's very exciting. Imagine, right, Ahmad on the left, Mabumo on the right,
yeah.
Bruno as a 10, and Kuna and Shesko, one of them two up front, and then Menu in midfield alongside, you know, somebody. And there's no ideal option there. Casemiro left
there's
wing.
no, there's no ideal option. That midfield is terrible. But yeah,
But from an attacking point of view,
from an
Solskjaer's going to
attacking
get
point of view, yeah, it's going to be good if you can get Ahmad and yeah, 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 because Ahmad can actually play both sides, left and right. Um, so yeah, that is exciting.
on if we have our first choice defence available. And do you know what?
Hmm.
This is also an interesting point. When Solskjaer was United manager, he loaned Dallo out to AC Milan and brought in Wan Bissaka. So
Yeah,
at least back then he wasn't sold on Dallo, so that could be an interesting one to watch.
yeah,
So uh, on my favourite back four would be Mazarahi at right back,
yeah, yeah,
Delict and Martinez in the
yeah.
centre, probably
Sure.
Dorgy or Shaw on the left. And
I think,
he loves
yeah,
Shaw, doesn't he? Solskjaer, he loves
yeah,
Shaw. So
yeah, yeah. And to be fair to him, as much as I've criticised him in the past, this season Shaw's been pretty good. He's been reliable. So I think we'll start with Shaw, and then
so
Dawes.
really, so
You
really,
know,
if Solskjaer comes in and plays a
yeah,
4-3-3,
yeah.
which we expect him to do, and he plays the players that we expect him to play,
Hmm.
the only real weaknesses in the side are going to be Casemiro and possibly Shesko.
Yeah, and then Sheshko again. He's not going to be a starter, is he? So he'll probably be on the bench coming on.
Yeah, yeah, and Solskjaer is a striker, by trade, so he should be able
Yeah.
to be good at coaching a guy on how to finish and stuff like that, and
Hmm.
what positions to pick up when you're a
Yeah.
striker. So I suppose he's almost the perfect coach for a struggling number 9 as
Yeah.
well.
I think what's
So it's something.
interesting as well, we'll see if Bruno gets moved further forward and Mount becomes the one that
Yeah,
moves into midfield because he's got the
yeah,
legs.
yeah, yeah. I haven't even thought about Mount yet, in terms of
Yeah,
Solskjaer, and yeah, that's going to be interesting. Yeah, when we have
yeah, because
everybody fit and available.
he's a proper hard worker because he's one of those players this season. I think he's been
Yeah,
one of the stars for us, unsung heroes.
yeah.
Mason
Every
Mount.
manager loves Mount, and I don't think Solskjaer will be
Yeah,
any different. Um,
yeah, yeah, yeah. And then also a signing like Conor Gallagher now, if it's Ollie that's coming in, makes a lot of sense for me because yeah, you're going to be running around a lot.
yeah, and Gallagher could take Casemiro's place as well. That's something that
Yeah, yeah, and him and Mount together. I mean, they were nicknamed the cardio cousins at Chelsea.
yeah,
Um,
they're actually friends, aren't they? So
yeah,
even better.
yeah, yeah. So that's
Just talking about this is getting me excited. Getting a bit giddy now.
and also the other thing as well. The other advantage to go into a flat back four. Suddenly, our defense doesn't seem low in numbers. We've actually got options now.
Yeah,
You know.
definitely. Yeah, because even if Martinez and Delict would be my first choice, but then
Yeah,
after that, You've got Maguire.
You
You've
got
got Lenny,
Maguire, and then you got
Lenny
Heaven and
Yarrow,
Euro.
Heaven. Yeah,
Yeah.
plenty of
And then
options there.
and then at right back, like we agreed before, like Mazraoui is probably our best right back in a flat back four. And then Dallo as well. On his day, right back is the position in which he pisses me off the least.
He still pisses me off at right
Oh
back.
yeah, well yeah, that's the only way I could put it. So yeah, but then if he's
But
second to Mazraoui, then I won't complain. To be honest.
yeah, I am excited by the prospect of Ollie demoting him because he demoted him
Yeah,
the first time he was United manager.
yeah. So that'll be interesting. Um, if he wants to make changes or if he doesn't want to
Because
unsettle things, because Amorim basically had him as the de facto vice captain.
yeah, and again that's just because he's Portuguese. I hated that,
Hmm.
and
Yeah,
it's no surprise that
yeah,
both Portuguese players were in his leadership
hmm
team, and somehow Delict was not. That's an absolute
yeah,
atrocious decision. How could Delict not be in your leadership six? What
yeah.
was that all about?
Absolutely. Even the way he handles and conducts himself in interviews, he's got natural leadership qualities. For flip's sake, he was manager of Ajax when he was what 18,
Captain, you
19.
mean?
Well, yeah, he was captain and
Manager at Ajax at
manager.
18? Oh, that's impressive.
Well, on the field, captain.
Yeah,
Captain's what I meant.
yeah. Here's another reason. Another way to whet the appetite. So Bruno Fernandes stats under
Oh,
Ole Gunnar
under Ollie.
Solskjaer. Yeah.
Yeah,
Here we
when he
go.
arrived in January, it was insane, wasn't it? That
So
little period, we were like, oh my days,
so
what is
Bruno
going on?
under Ole. Here we go. 97 matches,
Yeah, yeah,
44 goals and
yeah,
35 assists,
yeah. The GA was disgusting.
and he averaged a 0.81 GA per game.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, it was crazy.
So that's almost a goal and assist every game.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
That initial period, those couple of months from January, it was mad.
so yeah, wasn't there a season there under Ole
Hmm.
where Bruno Fernandes scored 28 goals in a season?
Hmm.
That's amazing. That's amazing for a midfielder.
Yeah,
Uh, yeah,
he did take all the
a lot of
set pieces and
penalties.
stuff as pens and all
Yeah,
of that. Yeah, I mean, he still got to score them, but
yeah. There's no way that he is going to play
yeah,
midfield under Ole. He's going to go.
yeah, yeah.
He's
He's
going to be the
gonna
10.
he's gonna be further forward. Yeah, so it's gonna be interesting. Also to cope with our lack of out and out left winger, I wonder if we'll go two up top with the 10 tucked in. So yeah, it'll be interesting.
Tell you what, I'm getting so excited now. I think we should bring back Odion and Gallo up front. What do you think?
I wouldn't go that far.
Do you remember? Well, his highlight was obviously that goal against
Oh, the
Linz.
Europa League goal. Oh, that
Yeah.
yeah,
Do you remember Ollie's reaction to that goal? He's like,
yeah, yeah, yeah. That was incredible, wasn't it? It's just upsetting that you couldn't do it in the Premier League.
yeah. I think all his goals came in cup competitions.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I just
So we
remember it was so
shall.
random as well. The fact that we got it from China at that time, just as COVID broke out.
Yeah, it was just completely out of the blue, wasn't it? He had to
Yeah,
quarantine and all, didn't he?
yeah,
Before he.
yeah. It was insane. Yeah,
Um. So we shall leave it up. We shall leave it there for today.
yep.
I will be back with Jerry tomorrow, following the Burnley game, and we'll be discussing what happens there, and hopefully we get the new manager bounce under Fletcher, and then we'll see what happens with the permanent interim manager
Hmm.
situation. Um, so yeah, only United could have an interim manager, then a permanent interim manager, and then a
Yeah,
permanent
yeah.
manager.
And an interim for the interim.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Uh,
It's been a turbulent period for United, but if I'm being brutally honest, I'm happy that Amorim is gone because I didn't like the results were terrible, and I didn't like this formation one bit, and I didn't think it suited the squad that we have. So hopefully, if
it,
Sulcher's
it
going
was
to come in,
inevitable, wasn't it? For me,
yeah,
I'm not pleased with the timing of it, but yeah, this is probably how it was all going to end anyway. So it's one of those.
yeah, I thought it would go on to May, but it's happened in
Yeah.
January. Um, so if Solskjaer comes in, who's the favourite at the moment, he'd probably take Carrick with him. I would have thought. Here.
Mhm.
Actually, I just thought about this last night, and I was getting really giddy thinking about it. I imagine Solskjaer as the manager and Van Nistelrooy as the assistant manager. How about that?
Ah, and then Rude teaching Sheshko. Oh yeah,
Oh
that's what
yeah.
dreams are made of.
Yeah, imagine Cesco having Solskjaer and Van Nistelrooy as his coaches.
Yeah, yeah,
He
that would
couldn't
be
fail. He
incredible. That
couldn't fail.
yeah, you hopefully. But yeah, I'll catch you next time, Carl.
All right. Please, everybody, smash a like on the video. Get more of your comments in. Let us know what you think about what's going on at United at the moment, and let us know how excited or unexcited you are about the current situation. And please subscribe to the podcast, no matter where you're listening on audio or you're watching on YouTube. And I'll see you again then, Brush.
Yep, take care.